Hey YouTube, T. Holtz here. Been a while since we took a look at all of my tanks, so I thought I'd film a video of them all tonight. We're looking at my Discus tank, which is bare now, as you can see. I took all the plants that I had growing in pots out. They were just covered in algae all the time. So I took them out. I got tired of looking at the algae or cleaning the algae off the plants. Eventually I'm going to put pool filter sand in here, and it'll look a little bit better. I only have 3 Discus left. I did have 5, but something happened to them at the beginning of December where I think something might have been added to the winter water. I'm not really sure what happened, but all of them were near death at one point, and I did lose 2 of them, like I said, and all I did was put charcoal or carbon, activated carbon, in my filters, and since I did that, they come back to life. This blue one here was dark black, and they were all laying on the bottom. This one actually was laying on his side for over a week on the bottom of the tank, breathing heavy, and as you can see, he's fine now. And the only thing I did was add activated carbon to the filter, and I've been changing it. Left it in for a month, and then I took it out and put new carbon back in, and they're fine. Unfortunately, I couldn't save the other 2. I didn't think of putting carbon in the filters until after they died. You're not really supposed to put carbon in Discus tanks, because eventually whatever the carbon's taken out of the water leaches back into the tank. But it worked in this case, and eventually I'm going to put 2 more Discus in here, maybe 3, with some pool filter sand instead of going bare bottom. I really don't know what happened that caused them all to get sick. The only thing I could think of was maybe some kind of a winter water additive that I've heard that some water companies use, and maybe the carbon is taking it out. It's tough when you lose expensive Discus like I did, but I was about to give up on keeping Discus because they were all dying. But now that I've gotten these back to life again, definitely not going to give up. I'm going to get a couple more in the spring. So that's the look at that tank. And down here we have my 10-gallon shrimp tank. I just pulled a ton of plants out of it. This tank was so overgrown that the light wasn't penetrating down into the plants at all, and some of the plants had died back quite a bit. This crypt here was much bigger than it is now, and there's another crypt in the back that really died back quite a bit. That was much bigger than it is, but the tank was just so overgrown that there was no light getting down into any of these plants. So I pulled a lot of Java moss, a lot of Riccia moss out, and now we're bright again, and I'm hoping that some of these plants come back. Not a whole lot of cherry shrimp in here. There was a lot more. I've never really seen any dead ones, but there's probably about 20 or so in here now. I don't know what happened. I did have more than that. And I like the look of this a lot better now that it's brightened up quite a bit after I pulled pulled so many plants out. Take a look at from the surface here. I have a lot of some duckweed, some Riccia moss floating, and some Amazon frog bit. And the frog bit then produces these roots that you see. And the shrimp like to hang and graze on the roots. Hopefully these plants that now that they're getting some light, will bounce back and start growing again. Up here, my neon tank. I just put a new light bulb in this tank. As this dwarf sage here, as you can see, it's got a lot of brown leaves. This dwarf sage started to die back. Oh, there's my Epistogramma cockatoides hanging there. I put a new light bulb in, and some of this light was in here way too long, probably a year and a half, and you should change your bulbs every year. So some of the plants were suffering. So I'm also hoping that some of these plants bounce back now that the light's in here real bright. There are 3 Epistos in here with a bunch of neons, some Cory cats. There's a smaller Episto. Nice coloration on these Epistogramma cockatoides. We have Harlequin rasboras and gold Pristilla tetras hanging out on this side. There's one of my 4 Cories. Here's the other Episto. Oh, he got scared right away. That one I think might be a female. Or just a young male that's not developing yet. Plants, like I said, some of them took a hit because the light maybe wasn't, the light was on this tank for too long. Not this water sprite. This water sprite continues to grow very quickly. I'm always pulling that out. Riccia moss. Floating here at the surface. I'm always yanking some of that out as it blocks the light from this Anubias here. And this Anubias down here. See if we can get a shot at the top without too much glare. Yeah, not really. Nothing but glare here. Yeah, can't really see. I got duckweed and Amazon frogbit growing at the top of this tank too. We'll give you an overall look if it'll focus. There it is. That's my 20-gallon high. We'll come down over here, and this is a 20 long. There's a nice Episto in this tank as well. This is actually the biggest one, and the nicest colored one. This tank here has been the one that's been set up the longest. I have 6 Cory cats, only 1 Harlequin rasbora as over the years. The others died. 1 gold barb. And there you see the silver tipped tetra. I do have 4 of them. They're nice fish. Nice coloration on them with the red tail and the white tips of their fins. There are 4 of them in here. They're very active, very aggressive feeders. When I drop food in this tank, they really go crazy after it, all 4 of them. There you see another one. Dwarf sage here in the front. Little water sprite there in the back. Cripwenti there in the back also. Java fern. Some Anubias. This is an old plant. Some of the leaves don't look so great on it, but it's growing lots of new leaves still. There you see the new growth on it right here at the tip. Lots of Java moss. It'll focus. Yeah, you see all the Java moss. There's actually a big piece of driftwood here that you can't see the driftwood because it's just covered by Java moss. Nubius nana petite, right there in the center, in the middle of all that Java moss. And there's going to be too much glare to show this at the top too, but there's another Anubias there in the back corner. Lots of duckweed, lots of Riccia moss. There's the Cories and that nice Episto. Get a shot of him again. Just did water changes on all these tanks in the past couple days. I take about 35 to 50% or so of the water out every week. That's my 20-gallon long. Have to get a full shot of it because of where it's located, behind the chair here. That's the best I can get of it. And then we'll move on. Last but not least, here's the TV tank. Made some additions to the TV tank last week. Get an overall shot of it. I bought 4 Harlequin Rasboras, put in this tank. You can see a couple of them right there. I also put White Cloud Mountain Minnows in this tank. I have 9 of them in here now. Small fish, good for a small tank of this size. A beginner fish for sure, but still a fish worth having because they're very colorful. Move around quickly. Hard to get a shot of them. That's what I like about them. They're very, very active. There's a lot of activity in this tank now with all these White Cloud Mountain Minnows in here. There is a Bolivian ram. Got scared of the camera. There, it got dark for a second. I don't know why. Now it's bright again. There's one of the Bolivian rams. You can see he's got some nice color on him. And there's the other one here. They see the phone, the camera, and they don't like it. Red-eye tetras. Australian rainbows. Doing very well. 2 males, 2 female Australian, not Australian rainbows, threadfin rainbows. 2 male, 2 female threadfin rainbows. Couple of red-eye tetras, couple of penguin tetras, there's one of them there. And a lot of White Cloud Mountain Minnows. Kabamba here on this side. Take a far view of it. Look how big bushy my Kabamba is. On this side and again on that side, the Kabamba. I have some water sprite floating. There at the top. Blixa japonica that I keep pulling out because it just grows so fast. It was a tiny little plant when I put it in here, but now look at the size of it. Blocking the light of my AR Mini here. But the AR Mini is still doing well. Doesn't have the red coloration that it should have, but that's because it's just not getting the light that it needs, and I don't add CO2. All my tanks are dirted tanks, no CO2. I got some Nubius in this corner. There is some Rotala indica growing there. Crinum natans, the thick ruffly leaf plant right there, Crinum natans, doing very well. The thinner ruffled leaf plant, Crinum calamistratum. Some kind of small sword plant there in the back also. Not sure what that's called. But a lot of activity in this tank. It's also got a water change today. Let's see if we could get a close shot of the white clouds. If I can get one to stay in still and focus on it for a minute. Not really. You can see them all darting around. Nice little fish. Creates a lot of activity in the tank. And I tried to get a view of the Bolivian ram, but he doesn't really want me to get that close. Alright, video's getting long. Just wanted to give a quick look at all my tanks. Thanks for watching.